In your understanding, what should a transmigrator look like? Is it someone who gains incredible abilities from the beginning? Is it someone who has an auxiliary system and can conquer all the heavens and realms? Or perhaps someone of noble birth, living a life of luxury and indulgence, surrounded by admirers and pleasures? That's right, those are all transmigrators. But I, Roen, am also a transmigrator. But now I am facing imprisonment. The person wearing prison clothes, with iron rings around their necks and handcuffs on both hands, is named Roen. After inexplicably crossing into this world, I not only did not acquire any super abilities, but also wandered on the streets, unable to eat enough or wear warm clothes every day. After arriving in another unfamiliar world, Roen had no one to rely on and had nothing. Every day, he wanders around with a huge garbage bag, picking up some seemingly valuable garbage to exchange for some money. I put in a lot of effort to save up enough money for a meal by picking up garbage, and then prepared to go to a restaurant for a hearty meal. Roen carefully held a few gold coins in his hands, as if holding a treasure. Looking at these gold coins exchanged for garbage, he couldn't help but shed tears. As a result, my dining table was kicked over by a passing little brat. Tell me, does this make people angry? Just as Roen was eating in the restaurant, a passing child kicked Roen's table hard with their foot. Soon, Roen and the table fell to the ground together, and the food on the table was scattered everywhere. This child has blonde hair and is wearing aristocratic clothes. He was accompanied by several guards to protect his safety. Naturally, I don't indulge such bratty kids. I immediately stuffed him into the restaurant's trash can. Roen is very angry about the child's behavior. He immediately picked up the child and threw it into the trash can. The two guards of the child were very flustered about this. They clumsily pulled the child out of the trash can. However, judging from the expensive suit worn by the little brat and the guards around him, his identity is clearly not simple. After coming out of the trash can, the child pointed at Roen while crying and telling the guards about his grievances. Another guard immediately walked towards Roen. So, I'm locked up for supposedly assaulting a senator's child. Roen, dressed in prison uniform, grabbed the prison door with both hands and looked outside unhappily. My cellmate only has this guy and a black moving slime. In prison, a seemingly fierce person sat next to Roen. In addition, there is a black slime slowly walking around the prison. What surprised me even more was that a rapid sound of footsteps echoed in the corridor of the underground prison. Suddenly, the prison door was opened. Seeing Roen, a guard spoke to him with a fierce tone. "Come out, Roen. It's your turn to be executed today." Roen looked nervously at the guard, feeling that things were heading in a bad direction. My brief 4-day reincarnation journey in another world is coming to an end here. Roen was taken to the execution platform by the guards, and his head and hands were fixed on the platform. Roen nervously closed his eyes. He felt that his life was about to come to an end. The guard used a knife to cut off the rope, while the large sword on the execution platform was rapidly falling towards Roen's neck. I originally thought so, and I was even prepared to face death. However, things took an unexpected turn. At this moment, a blue magical energy appeared above Roen. This magical energy speaks to him. Congratulations! You have become the 100th transmigrator to use this system. This system is dedicated to building the transmigrator into the strongest presence on the ground. The big knife on Roen's head not only did not cut his neck, but instead turned into fragments upon touching his neck. In an instant, the execution platform was directly destroyed by Roen. With the sound of the prompt, as a transmigrator, I finally obtained my exclusive system. Roen touched his neck and easily got up from the execution station. The surrounding guards noticed that Roen wanted to rebel, so they took up their weapons and immediately gathered around him. At this moment, a mysterious voice sounded again. Detected that you are at risk of death. In order to increase your chances of survival, the system will temporarily take over your body. Suddenly, Roen's eyes turned blue. He looked ahead with a determined gaze, as if he had changed into a different person. Soon, I, who had a cheating system, killed everyone on the execution ground. After being taken over by the system, Roen began to launch a counterattack. He snatched the weapons from the guards and agilely dodged all their attacks. Then, with a gentle wave of his hand, he defeated all the guards. Although I got the system a bit late, I can finally experience the joy of being a transmigrator. After defeating all the guards, Roen held a knife and looked up at the sky. The sunlight shone on him. Not only that, at this moment, Roen noticed the slime he had seen in prison appeared in front of him. The sound of the system also sounded again. Hello, transmigrator. A creature with unstable magic has been detected nearby. I also learned that the black slime was actually a witch, because her power went against common sense, and she was punished by the ring of the world. That's why she became like this. Roen picked up a blue-haired girl from the slime. After rescuing her, I got a super beautiful girl. He held the lovely girl and left the execution platform. Later, the Duchess of the Empire suddenly appeared in front of me. A woman with white hair and dressed in noble attire appeared in front of Roen. She looked down with indifferent eyes. She seems to be a woman who is difficult to approach. She assumed without hesitation that I was the savior and wanted to allocate territory to me. Although Roen repeatedly refused her request, she still wanted to give him territory. In addition, there is a lovely dragon maid who takes care of my life closely. A girl with white hair and dressed in maid attire sat on a chair. She held a cup of tea in her hand and looked ahead. She seems to be admiring the scenery outside the window. Under the guidance of the system, will I also embark on the path of glory in another world, like the transmigrators in other stories? Of course, it's impossible for such a good thing to happen. Neither the system nor the people I have met will tell me about this. The 99 transmigrators before me have all died. In Roen's slow exploration, he knew this huge secret. All of this is a conspiracy of the system.